Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Bells, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Pro Wrestling TV. Thank you for joining us for the exclusive podcast of Women's Wrestling Army. I'm Alyssa Marino, Women's Wrestling Army commentator, professional serial eater. I'm joined by my friend, the incomparable Will Washington. How are you?
I'm stuck on professional serial eater. And
big fan of cereal.
Big fan. What's the go-to?
Oh, Golden Grahams. Hello.
I'm sorry. I was not expecting that. I was expecting like a Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm an Apple Cinnamon Cheerios guy, but...
Okay. I was going to ask yours. Apple Cinnamon. I like that. It's like off the beaten path. I think that's very remarkable.
I know. Most people, they love the Honey Nut. No, I am an Apple Cinnamon Cheerios guy. Welcome, by the way, to Beyond the Bells. This is just another great week of pro wrestling. Another eventful week in pro wrestling. And lots has gone down.
It certainly has. You want to kick us off with a little bit of bites from the news?
Yeah, so a couple weekends ago, Ring of Honor got to make its big return show, and there was lots of news that came out of that show. But being Beyond the Bells, we're actually going to be talking about a couple of matches that came out of that show. We had the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship on the line. Mercedes Martinez defended against Serena Deeb. I have to say, I had my bets on Serena in that match, and there were a couple of falls I bit on completely, but at the end of the day, Mercedes Martinez retained the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, and I appreciated, by the way, shout out Caprice Coleman, talking up the history of that belt throughout the match, and him talking up Roxy and talking up Deanna. It was great stuff. Phenomenal commentator, by the way. I love Caprice Coleman. And then also on the pre-show, Alyssa Kay took on Willow in a rematch from the Quest for the Gold tournament. Huge win for Willow. That crowd in Lowell, Massachusetts was so into Willow. And like every crowd she's in front of usually is, but the fact that crowd was so there for her made me feel so good. It gave me all the warm and fuzzies. Her entrance in her music is so infectious. And so to get to see that on that stage in that arena, which I believe that was the largest crowd that Ring of Honor had drawn for a non-WrestleMania weekend. So it was a wild audience to have on, just in the middle of the summer, and for Willow to get to walk in to that ovation just felt so good to see.
I mean, absolutely, yes. And that's tough competition too in Alyssa Kay. There's no denying that. It's a huge win for Willow. You got to imagine she is in some sort of talks for the ROH Women's Championship after that, perhaps, maybe. I know they kind of hinted at it on commentary. We'll see, what happens down the line. And in other recent news, we had the few weeks back, the team of VXT, Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo, were victorious against the pairing of Knockouts World Champ Jordynne Grace and Mia Yim, which made them the new #1 contenders for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. We're going to see how that ends up developing. And then we had our most recent episode of Women's Wrestling Army as well. If you want to take us through some of the matches that we saw there, Will.
Yeah. So we got to see the dominant debut of Max the Impaler, handily defeating Lana Lennox. And after the match, Amy Rose issued a challenge to Lufisto.
Yeah. Very, very intense. We also saw La Creme de la Creme, Ashley D'Amboise, rising to the top against Tootie Lynn Ramsey.
And in the main event, we finally settled the issue of who is the real queen in Women's Wrestling Army, as Queen Aminata submitted Queen Bee. This was a hard-hitting classic. If you haven't seen it, you can watch it by becoming one of our premium subscribers at womenswrestlingarmy.com for even more exclusive content, or by watching for free on Pro Wrestling TV.
And now we have the newest episode of WWA hitting Pro Wrestling TV tonight, and it is more action from our Begin Anywhere tapings in Chicago. Do you remember last Beyond the Bells where Maria said that people can expect the matches to be hard-hitting? This episode is going to continue to deliver on that, because we see newcomer Cosmic taking on the Afro-Punk Trish Adora, and Holodead defending her Mission Pro Championship against the debuting Jordan Blade. Definitely some exciting matchups you will not want to miss.
Oh, I've been excited for this guest.
Yeah.
Really excited.
Yes. We are bringing on our very special guest who has really brought the flavor to every WWA taping. She's a history maker. She's a multi-time champ. She is the greatest who beat the greatest. La Boricua badass, Tasha Steelz.
Hello, hello, hello. Alyssa, I'm going to have to just have you travel with me everywhere because out of everyone that just announces all this flavor, you have been the absolute best and on point every single time. And I'm going to have to slip you a little something, put you on the payroll of the Flavor Gang and just have you as my personal ring announcer because nobody else can just announce and bring in the flavor just like you brought in the flavor. So thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Truly.
That means the world to me. Do I have flavor by proxy or something? Like
you are a honorary member of the Flavor Gang, and I'm gonna have to send you like a shirt and a chain. And we're gonna have to get you on that Flavor Gang. We're gonna have to make you an honorary member as well. So we're gonna have you do something as well, So we'll work on that though. We'll work on that definitely.
Of course. Hey, it's been awesome to see you as such a staple of Women's Wrestling Army. How did you end up getting involved with this project as it was getting started?
You know, talking with Maria at Impact tapings was like the best way because I got to see her at every tapings and then hearing her idea of what her and Bobby Cruz were going to do. The first thing I said was if Impact allows it, if it doesn't conflict with any Impact dates, I would love to be a part of this because I know with Maria, she's very, very smart in this business and she knows her stuff. So it's like to be in a promotion with somebody that knows, that is smart like that and has that intelligent mind of what women's wrestling is and the definition of it and what fans need to see out of women's wrestling. Who doesn't want to be a part of that? So I definitely just asked, hey, listen, if you allow me to be a part of this, I promise to not let you down. And if it doesn't conflict with the Impact dates, I would love to be a part of this as much as I can and just create history again and help create history again.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of incredible collaboration that we've been seeing and, different talents being able to kind of elevate one another. We saw you obviously at the WWA debut event, and most recently we saw you on Women's Wrestling Army prepare for a one-on-one bout with Lady Luck, but hello, spoiler, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo inserted herself into the match. What was going through your mind as your matchup went from having to handle one to then two opponents?
It's such a Jersey thing for us to be petty and, take matters into our whole hands, or as they would say in wrestling, go into business for yourself. And, with Deonna's opponent, which was supposed to be Ashley Fox, she's injured. I somehow was not expecting Deonna to interfere in a match because I thought we were here. We're Team Adams and we train together. We travel the roads together. We're close friends. I wouldn't expect her to just jump into my match. So I would think she would just cheer me on. So I would expect her to jump in somebody else's match or just eliminate somebody else so she can have her own one-on-one. But when her music hit and she came out, I thought, yeah, this is just Deonna being the virtuosa. She doesn't care, and whoever's match she want to interfere in and make it her own, she will. And I was just like, all right, well, if anything, I've been trying to get my one-on-one with Deonna for a while because growing up in wrestling and traveling the roads with her, haven't been able to defeat her. It's always been the student falling to the teacher. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is the time where the student finally beats the teacher. With the exception of we have a third person in the match. So once the match, got started, I was like, all right, well, I could beat two women at once. I've been in an Ultimate X match where I've beaten 6 women at one time. This is going to be just a breeze for me. It's not going to be a problem. But unfortunately, I didn't get the win. But Deonna didn't beat me either. She beat Lady Luck. I would like people to know she did not defeat Tasha Steelz. She defeated Lady Luck in this match. That's all I have to say about that.
Absolutely. And you mentioned traveling and you've been doing lots of traveling lately, actually. Take us through the, I guess, traveling life of Tasha Steelz. Do you have any traditions or must-haves and comfort to make you feel like you're best when you're on the road? Excuse me.
Well, for one, if I don't have my neck pillow and my journal, because I like to write. I haven't written in a while, and like just starting this year, I just started to write a lot more.
So,
I
like chronicling your journaling or chronicling your traveling?
Basically, that and just other things, thoughts that will come to my mind. I would sometimes, like, especially at tapings, we have like such a timeline of from we get to the building to when the tapings start. We have just so much time in between. So I would just sometimes go and find an area where I could just sit, chill, and I would just like write. I used to, when I was younger, I wrote a lot of poetry. I cannot find those books for the life of me. I think my mother took them because she likes to just hoard things a lot, and especially things that I've done growing up, she likes to keep. So I used to write a lot of poetry. I used to write a lot of music. A little fun fact people don't know. But I would just write things that would come to my mind, because sometimes, like especially like with mental health just being so important nowadays, people balling things in, it's good to just write stuff down just to get it off your chest if you can't talk to somebody or be around somebody. So I do that too. I just write a lot of stuff down. So I have my journal that I write stuff in. Of course my music. So my phone is the most important, where I have all my music in that I could just relax and just chill on the plane and get some sleep in. And of course, Flavor flies first class all the time. So, when I'm relaxed in that nice leather chair in first class, and I'm relaxed, I'm reclined, and I got my book and I got my music and got my neck pillow and I can get some sleep. That's all the essentials I need right now when I'm traveling on the road from show to show.
You talked
about that. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, well, you talked about, music obviously being an essential. Are there any new artists or new albums or anything in particular you've been listening to a lot lately?
I'm such a 90s girl that I just like listening to 90s music, just like that old school. I try and get with like that new rap stuff like that, but I can't get into it. I'm such an old soul at heart, and I like that 90s flavor. Stuff that my mother grew me up on, like 70s, 80s slow jam, stuff like that. It's just so calming and soothing with that music. So it's just like, I do that. I listen to a lot of country music. As you can hear my dog barking because she doesn't like me being, talking to people and not giving her attention. I like to listen to a lot of country music as well. But like I said, as far as like new stuff, I can't.
Who's your go-to 90s artist?
My go-to 90s artist is Janet Jackson. If I want to just be calm and just like relax, I'm always listening to Janet. But if I'm like, I want to get hyped up, I'm listening to Tupac. Definitely listening to Tupac.
Is Rhythm Nation the go-to album?
If it's not the go-to album, then there's something wrong with me. If it's not the go-to album, Rhythm Nation, I feel like is one of my top favorite albums of Janet's. So it's Rhythm Nation, then it's the Janet album, then it's the Velvet Rope, and so on and so forth.
I was hoping you would mention the Velvet Rope. All right, we're good.
Oh my gosh, I went to the concert, and I was too young to go to the concert, and I went to the concert, and that was like one of my first Janet concerts I went to, that my mother surprised me with, and I was so hooked of seeing Janet live ever since then. Like, I've always been such a fan of her. I feel like she's my idol. But when I went to the Velvet Rope concert, I was like, I have to go to every Janet concert, tour, anything, appearance after that. And luckily for me, I've been blessed to have done that. So it's amazing. I love when she performs.
Now we understand that we're kind of on the topic of traveling. We understand that at the last set of tapings, you were riding a lot with Bobby Cruz.
Oh my God, Bobby! Oh goodness, Bobby. He's been trying to be an honorary member of the Flavor Gang for a long time now. I mean, even like when I used to just go to Ring of Honor, back in Ring of Honor, like he's been trying so hard. So I'm like, all right, Bobby, you'll start as my personal chauffeur. That's what you'll do. You'll drive the Flavor to the tapings, and we'll see from there, you know. And then I had to check Bobby's musical selection. It sucked. His musical selection sucked so bad. I had to just plug my phone in and be like, listen, you gotta listen to this. Because whatever you were picking was terrible, okay? Even like Lish was in the backseat. She was just mortified, and I had to be like, sorry, Lish, you know, this is unfortunately Bobby been trying to been honorary member of the Flavor Gang, and this is just not working out. And I almost had to fire him off. I almost had to fire him. But Bobby, at the end of the day, he's trying. He's trying so hard, but you gotta love the guy because he doesn't care sometimes, and he's a ball of fun. Got us stuck in traffic for 30 minutes, okay? Got us stuck in traffic for like 30 minutes, and while he had us stuck in traffic, let everybody cut him off while we were stuck in traffic. So not only did he make me late for call time, but he made everybody cut him off and was just like, I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. You can't be from Boston if you drive like that, letting everybody cut you off, because Boston people, I know, would not even allow that. Hell, Jersey people would not allow that. So I knew he was not a true Boston person. I think that he just lived in Boston at one point or just travels to Boston because he likes Boston a lot. But I don't think Bobby is truly from Boston. So that right there just minus 11 points off the Flavor Gang, because that's just not how you drive. You got to drive with some authority. You have to drive with some aggression when you drive on that road, because when people cut you off, that's it. Everybody's going to cut you off.
No, it's true. They sense a trend, and then it's like they sense weakness on the road, so they take advantage.
And Bobby was weak that day, and that upset me a lot because it was just a long day, and it was bad traffic, and I cannot stand traffic. And he let everybody cut him off, and I was literally almost having both my hands wrapped around his throat because he let everyone cut him off. And I said, this is not how you drive. You have to drive with some aggression. And he refused to drive aggression because he said he's a nice guy. Just because you're a nice guy does not mean you have to let everybody cut you off, Bobby. You can't just do that.
No,
I will say,
assertive.
I truly believe that Bobby is a true Bostonian, I guess is the proper term, because no, that man, you can't fake that accent. But I will say, now that I'm like picturing Bobby like with his thick Boston accent, just like passively letting people through, that actually sounds like really entertaining stuff. And I really hope that you guys have like just some content captured from that, because that would be a moment for me.
I'm gonna say this next set of tapings, I will have all the content for you, and I will send that right off to you, Will, because this is not a joke how much we went back and forth those whole 30 minutes. Like a 10-minute drive turned into 30 minutes because he let everybody cut him off.
Well, and I have a little bit of a caveat to this, because I witnessed some of your banter between the two of you. And I think it was kind of like the idea was kind of joked about you guys having a reality show and how funny we thought it would be. What would you call that reality show? Like, what do you think the title of that reality show would be?
Let's see. What would we have this reality show be? I would say it would be the Tasha and Bobby show trying to be Flavor. That's what it is. Trying to be Flavor.
Finding my flavor with
Finding my flavor. Finding my flavor. Tasha and Bobby show Finding My Flavor. Okay, that's definitely what it would be. I feel like we do need our own reality show because it was great. Everyone was entertained.
Hey, Women's Wrestling Army has been all about bringing talent from all over to create exciting opportunities for women in wrestling. I know that you're the greatest who beat the greatest, but have there been any competitors that have caught your eye during the Women's Wrestling Army taping so far?
I've been watching these girls, and for one, I said, how come they're not on TV yet? That was the first thing I said. I said, these girls need to be on these TVs. Like these girls are amazing. Like they should no longer just have these 5-second spots, 5-minute spots, like squashing the people. No, like you literally need to be on TV. You need to be in the ring with me. You need to be in the ring with someone like Deanna. Like these girls are really great and are really amazing. I'm going to start off and say Janai Kai. She's great. very hard hitting, literally very hard hitting. Queen Aminata, I've been in the ring with her, and let me tell you something. She's definitely a great competitor. I would love to see more from her. She needs to be on the TV as well. Um, uh, Ashley Demois, she's great. She actually trained at my school for a little bit, so I got to see her how she's training. So seeing her from the time that she started training with us up until now is amazing. Her glow up is great, and I love the person that she's coming into because she at one point did ask me for advice as far as like character building and stuff like that. So I love how she is and how she's portraying her character and how she's capitalizing off of it. So it's great. That's all you can do. But like I said, a lot of these girls need to be on these TV screens because they are just great and they're amazing. And I'm looking forward to getting in the ring with the next competitor. I think they can beat the greatest that beat the greatest.
And certainly it has to be nice to be able to see the constant growth, and as competitors are evolving. And we know that coming up next for you at Women's Wrestling Army, you're taking on the Female with Attitude Maserati. So what can you share with us, reflections about this match?
Well, I heard she's a big fan of Tasha Steelz. I heard that she likes to kind of idolize off of Tasha Steelz, and she wants to have all this flavor as well. I know she's from like the Vegas area. She's traveled like trained around in the Vegas area. So I had to hit up my boy Chris Bay, and I had to ask him like, how's this girl? What does she like, and what do I need to expect from her? So I'm looking forward to being in the ring with Maserati, teaching her a couple of lessons. And that's one, there's only one Tasha Steelz, there's only one Flavor Gang leader, there's only one brightest star in the sky, La Boricua Badass. And it's good that you idolize over me, but can't be me.
There could be only one.
There can be only one. What do you hope for the future of Women's Wrestling Army?
That Women's Wrestling Army just soars beyond the sky. And everyone just wants to be a part of Women's Wrestling Army. I know it's going to happen. And there's already a great buzz with Women's Wrestling Army. So I know that this is going to be, because it's in the hands of Maria and Bobby Cruz, this is going to be such an amazing promotion. And dare I say, up against like with Impact and AEW, like who all women's promotion like that, like we haven't seen that yet. So I definitely want to see it, and I know it's going to happen. And with all this great talent, it will happen. So definitely, that's what I want to see, and I know it's going to happen. So we're manifesting it right here, and yeah, that's it. That's on period.
We're manifesting good things, and yeah, WWA is in good hands with Bobby and Maria, with talent like yourself, with an incredible team. So we're so grateful and happy to see your involvement with Women's Wrestling Army. And yeah, let's manifest that into the future. So
yes, manifesting it right now.
Love it. La Boricua Badass. Thank you so much for spending the time chatting with us, and we really appreciate you hopping by on Beyond the Bells.
Well, I thank you, Alyssa. I heard you are what did you say? A serial?
Oh, yeah. Professional serial eater.
Yeah. Professional cereal eater. Okay. What was your go-to cereal?
Okay. So mine is Golden Grams, because I feel like you get more bang for your buck. They don't get super soggy. They don't crumble apart. Will was an apple cinnamon Cheerios fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Tasha Steelz, what about yourself?
It all depends. If I'm just trying to be on the healthy side, I would say Raisin Bran, because it has the fiber, it has the raisins, and put that with almond milk. You're good to go, and you can have that pre-workout meal in with that. But if I just want to just eat cereal, I have to go with Captain Crunch or the All Crunch Berries. Those are my favorite. I have to have that. If I don't have that in my kitchen, I am slacking very, very hard. So yeah, I have to go with either the All Crunch Berries or the Captain Crunch. That's my absolute go-to.
That's how you know Tasha Steelz is the toughest, because the roof of your mouth being able to withstand that. That's how we know.
I was gonna say that's a different level of badassery.
I can eat it without the milk. That's the best part. Without the milk, I will go in on those. Go in on them. That's the best thing.
Love it.
Respect where respect is due. Tasha, you are absolutely fabulous, and again, we thank you so much for chatting with us, and we can't wait to see what's next for you in WWA.
Oh, absolutely, thank you guys. I appreciate you so much for taking the time out, and that is on.
Oh,
bye, guys.
Thanks, Tasha.
Oh, what a delight! So
What?
much flavor. I appreciate that.
I know, right? And I'm glad we got the cereal talk in there at the end too. That was great.
That, it makes my heart feel good when we talk about cereal, wrestling and cereal, just two of the best things, So what another blast of an episode we have had here for Beyond the Bells. So, our friends at home, be sure that you're following Women's Wrestling Army on all of the socials and catching full episodes on Pro Wrestling TV, or subscribing for early access and exclusive content over at womenswrestlingarmy.com, where you get to see our episodes before anybody else. You get it first. And of course, if you want to see us live and in person, our next tapings are on September 9th and 10th, called Anywhere World. You heard it announced by Maria Kanellis-Bennett on the last Beyond the Bells, so keep your eyes on our socials for more talent updates, for match announcements, and for how to get your tickets when they become available. Well, Washington, what are your thoughts?
Alyssa Marino.
What do you got for us before we say goodbye for this episode?
Wrestling is the best, and I have really been feeling very strongly in that sentiment these last couple of weeks. But if you're not reminded of that with the content you're getting today, I don't know that there's any helping you at this point. But wrestling is the best.
Truer words were never spoken. Wrestling is the best. For Will Washington, I'm Alyssa Marino, and we will see you all for the next episode of Beyond the Bells.